right now, I'm in the Uintah Basin, and I love exploring the Uintah Basin because it's a very kind of more of a wild place. You honestly never know what you're going to find when you're out exploring the wild places of the Uintah Basin. And most times when I go out exploring, I always look for very remote areas where there's no roads, no trails, and stuff like that. And I just like to explore the deserts and the canyons. And most of the time, to be honest, I don't find like anything very interesting. I still enjoy doing it just because I like being out in nature and, you know, the wildlife and the rocks and stuff like that. But every now and then I'll come across stuff like I just came across a few minutes ago. And I'll show you all this. It's not very old, probably 1970s, 1980s. But some people came in here and built a little structure. So they were up to something. And I like areas like this because it's like a little mystery to be solved. And so right now I just kind of climbed up to a vantage point and I was looking around, and I'll give you the bird's eye view, and then we'll go see what we can find. Before we start exploring, I just want to give you a really quick kind of a panoramic view of the area where we're at. And this way you can see just how beautiful it is out here, especially this time of the year when the trees are all changing color, but absolutely gorgeous. And this is a nice time to explore areas like this because it's not very hot. But when we're done here, that's the old structure right there. So we'll take a look around and we'll see what we can find. And then when we're done, we'll go over and we'll explore all these rocks right in there. And I bet you there's a good chance we'll find some petroglyphs. Probably about 80% of the petroglyphs I find are near water sources. Those old Indians, they didn't travel very far from water. And right here you have the river coming down through there. That's where all the trees are. That's the river bottom. And so I bet you there's a really good chance we'll find some interesting petroglyphs. Hopefully we'll find out. But first, let's try to solve this. That's the old structure right there. Well, our first clue, I found an old ore bucket, and it is right here. And just a plastic bucket full of, looks like this is Gilsonite. Gilsonite's a very rare mineral, and as far as I know, it's only found here in the Uintah Basin. And I've heard when I was a kid that it's also found in Japan. I've never researched that, so don't take my word on it, but I do know it's a rare mineral. And even though it's rare and it's scarce, you would think it's valuable, but it's really not. They use it for industrial purposes and jewelry and stuff like that. But I'll give you a better view of it. But it's very light. It's not very dense. And it looks like coal. That's the best way I could describe it. It looks just like coal. But it's clean, like, you know, I have no black soot on my fingers or anything like that. And this one, I don't know if you can see the sparkles in it. It does have some other mineral in it. Probably there's some little sparkly stuff, probably mica if I had to guess. Not gold or anything like that, probably just mica or something. So this will be our first clue that there's a good chance they discovered a little outcropping of Gilsonite, and maybe they were thinking about mining it. So, you know, that's a pretty big bucket. Why they hid the bucket under this rock, I don't know. Looks like you got a big piece down there that fell out of the bucket. But I'm pretty sure all this is just Gilsonite. Oh, there you go. Yeah, there's a better piece. Yeah. There's your Gilsonite right there. Kind of pretty. Ooh, what do we got here? We have... Interesting. Let me pull out the jeweler's loop, and that looks like pyrite. It could be chalcopyrite too, like a copper base. Give me just a second and I'll look at this and we'll see what we can figure out what it is. Well, I've been looking at these samples for about 5 minutes under a jeweler's loupe, and I'll be honest with you, I can't figure it out. The best way I can just describe it is this mineral. It's like a resin. It's very, very hard, very brittle. It crumbles very easily, and it looks like dry honey, like dried honey that you would eat. And just envision if you had honey, and inside that honey you had little sprinkles of gold colored substance like flour gold or shavings of copper. And that's the best way I can describe it. That's exactly what it looks like under a loupe. And I hate mentioning the G word, gold, because anytime you do, people freak out and then they want to come up here and find this because they think they're going to be rich or something, and you're not. Even if this is flour gold, if you were to crush all this up and try to get the gold out, you'd probably get like 2 pennies for your effort. But I'm thinking those guys found this, so they have a mine. There's an outcropping of this somewhere near where we're at right now, and they seen the same thing I'm looking at, and they probably had it assayed, and if it is flour gold, the amount was so low, it probably wasn't worth their time, and they abandoned the efforts. But I think that's what it is. It's some kind of weird mineral. When I get home, I'll research it, and maybe it's associated with Gilsonite, but it looks like little bits of flour gold mixed in with this resin type mineral. But I'm going to put all of this back. Whenever I find stuff like this, I don't keep it. I don't take it home. I try to not disturb stuff. So I'll put everything back in the bucket, leave it the way I found it, and then it'll give somebody else an adventure. Somebody else will discover this, and they'll probably get excited like I did, and that's what it's all about. It's like the gift that keeps on giving. Now, this is the old structure they built. And as you can see, it's not very old. You got modern lumber, you got rebar, some metal banding. The metal banding, I'm guessing, might have came from like a barrel or something like that. You even have a fence post. And then you got, I believe that's a window frame. And you got an old 2-gallon bucket and an old plastic pipe. But if I had to guess, I'd say probably 1970s, 1980s is when they were up here messing around. And whatever they had built here, it's caught on fire and it burned down. And so we'll never know exactly what it was, but I'm guessing it was some kind of shack or something that they'd set up that they were working out of. And yeah, this is some kind of window frame right here. Yeah, you can see the busted glass. Here's their fire pit. So they were spending a lot of time here. They were definitely up to something, and I'd really like to find their old mine. Right here, they have another fire pit they built. And then you got some wood right here. And then it looks like they have a little stash of some wire right here. I don't see anything else in there, but we'll keep looking around and see what we can find. Right here's a spot where they probably had a barrel, like a 55-gallon barrel, but you can see those rocks. That's not natural. Those didn't deposit like that. They were placed there, and you can kind of see where they've leveled the ground off right here. So they were storing something right here in this area. Probably, like I said, a 55-gallon barrel, but who knows? But they were definitely putting something right here. Well, I'm up here searching around in these rocks, looking in the cracks and crevices, and I found these boards, and I got all excited, and I thought for sure I found the old mine site. But it's not, unfortunately. They were obviously storing something on top of these boards. They even went through the trouble of leveling everything off. But we'll find it. Real pretty, man. A lot of little hiding places. There's little nooks and crannies everywhere you look. But what I'll do is I'll look in all these rocks down here, and then I'll go and start working my way up higher, and maybe it's up above me. Yeah, that's just natural. Everything you can see around us right now, all of the sandstone, the mudstone, the clay, this is all what's called the Uintah Formation. And right now we're standing at the bottom of an ancient lake. And this ancient lake was called Lake Uintah. And a lot of times when you're out here in the Uintah Formation, you'll find fossils. And I'll commonly find turtle fossils all the time. But right here, that's an old fossil. That dates all the way back to the dinosaurs. I do not know what kind of fossil it is, but you will find them out here, and they are definitely cool little discoveries. I've been out here searching for about an hour, and I've searched up high, I've searched down low, I've searched in the rocks. I did find a lot of natural caves, but none of them were of mine. They were just natural. And so I'm thinking that structure and those areas we were looking at, I'm thinking that was like their base camp. That's where they kept their equipment, their food, where they were sleeping. So the mine has to be close by, but it must be, man, probably within a mile or two out here in the desert canyon somewhere. So I'll do a little more research, and the next time I'm in this area, hopefully I'll be able to track it down. But my main goal of coming out here is I wanted to find some petroglyphs. So hopefully we'll have some better luck finding petroglyphs.